Sophia, thanks for taking the time to be with us. I'm sure it's nice to have Corbin Burnes back in your starting rotation.
No doubt. And I think there was no doubt that he was going to have a great shot at making that historic record yesterday. And, it had been 16 days for him since his last start, April 26th against the Marlins. But he expressed total confidence in his process, how he was able to keep his body ready. While he was on the IL, he confirmed he had tested positive for COVID-19. He was very fortunate. He was asymptomatic. So he had full confidence going into yesterday, and he absolutely delivered. Craig Counsell said it was everything they could have asked for, considering the time off. He did indeed get the record right, and 58 strikeouts before he allowed a walk. Just absolutely ridiculous. And it's been so great to see him follow up what was such an incredible season for him last year. He's backed it up and more. It's just been historic and special, and you hear it not just from the Brewers, but from players across the league, just how nasty his stuff is right now. It's just been pure dominance and so fun to watch.
Yeah, 58 strikeouts before issuing a walk. Incredibly impressive. So congratulations to him. He's 2-3 with a 1.57 earned run average. He is back. When can we expect Christian Yelich back?
Soon, hopefully. Good news for the Brewers that Christian Yelich is going out on a minor league rehab assignment. He is expected to be in the AAA lineup in Nashville tonight, and he'll likely be there through the weekend. And you see him there. He's been really ramping up the activity going back to Monday. I think for the last 4 days, it's really been full activity for him. He's been at full strength, and it's been really up and down for him with the back injury. You go back to April 11th in St. Louis. He had to leave the game early, thought it was going to be a couple of days. And this time with the back injury, it's just been different for him. And it was a little different for him in terms of how he was able to come back the first time, because there were no minor league rehab assignments. That wasn't an option. So all he could do was ramp up activity as much as he could. He tried to come back on the last road trip in Philadelphia on May 10th. That lasted one game. He just felt like he wasn't good enough to go on a daily basis. So they took another step back with him on that last road trip, shut down the activity. He's been feeling much better over the last couple of days. So I think the fact that he's been able to do full activity, they've been able to increase it. More importantly, he feels good the next day, so they can continue with that progress. So he's going to be in AAA at least through the weekend, and we'll see how it goes. They're going to ease him into it. He's expected to take 2 or 3 at-bats, play a couple of innings of defense, and then go from there. So it will be huge if the Brewers can get him back from the IL, hopefully within the next week or so.
Yeah, because his presence in the lineup is such a position. It's somebody that that he can hurt you when he's in that lineup. And when he's healthy and playing well, he is such a force. 353 average in 10 games that he's played so far. And another outfielder that I know you guys want to get going is CAIN. He's not really hitting the way that he's capable of hitting. What are you noticing, Sophia, with his at-bats?
I think Lowe's still giving you quality at-bats, and I think LORENZO, unfortunately, has been dealing with an injury as well, and he's never going to make any excuses about it, but it's been a different type of season for him. You have to consider he only played 5 games last year before opting out on August 1st, and then coming into spring training, he had his wisdom teeth removed just before he reported. He lost 10 pounds there, dealt with a quad injury in spring training, came back from that, aggravated the quad injury again, had to go on the IL. And since he's come back, I think, the quality of the at-bat is still there. I think that's what Craig Counsell and the Brewers love the most about LORENZO at the top of the lineup. He's going to see pitches. It's going to be a quality at-bat. He's going to be competitive. He's going to be a tough out there. And he hasn't gotten going like he would want to. And he's the first to admit that. He's not fully healthy. He'll always tell you he's good enough to go. He absolutely hates not being in the lineup. But I don't think that quad is 100% yet. And, he is playing through it. And I think, his value also still comes. He's an elite base runner. The defense, of course, the Gold Glover, all of that is still there. And that they really value that in terms of the run prevention and just the impact he can have. And I think, this is an offense that is struggling right now, but CAIN is a guy that you can count on to put the ball in play. You can count on him for that hard hit ball up the middle to right. That's kind of his trademark. So I think eventually, CAIN will get it going. It'll be the production you're used to seeing from him.
Yeah, Lorenzo CAIN, a Gold Glove winner in 2019. And I tell you, if you guys get Yelich back, you get CAIN going, and you get Jackie Bradley Jr. going, that'll be something pretty special there in Milwaukee. One guy that does seem to have turned the corner, at least from April to May, is Avisail Garcia. He's certainly playing a lot better here in this current month. What's changed for him?
Well, he has spent a lot of time with hitting coach Andy Haynes, and they spent a couple of days together in Miami in the off season, just getting to know each other more and working on things and coming up with a game plan so that when Avi does get stuck in places, they can make an adjustment quicker. And I think they've, really locked in on some things in terms of his foundation and his stance. When he really gets going like he is right now in the month of May, he's better when he's standing straight up. He feels that, like in April when he was struggling, there was an 0 for 24 stretch in there. He just got a little out of whack with the stance. He wasn't in a good position to see the ball. He said everything was coming in really fast. So by correcting the foundation, by correcting the stance, being more upright, he said that just puts him in a better position to hit. He can see the ball better. He can make a better decision. The swing path is there for him. So all of that has really come together here. 5 homers for him. He's one of the top producers in this Brewers lineup. And I think this is a lineup that is struggling right now in terms of the consistency. And Avi's been sort of a symbol of that. He got off to a slow start, has shown the flashes of it at times, went through that long stretch where he was really struggling. But since then, since he's corrected it, it's just been really good production for him. And again, they need him in the middle of that lineup while they've been without Christian Yelich.
Yeah, 429 average, 2 home runs and 10 ribbies so far in the month of May. And when we talk about the Brewers pitching, of course, we're going to talk about Burnes. We're going to talk about Woodruff, but we're also going to talk about Josh Hader. I don't know what it is about this guy, but he continues to be unhittable. A .61 earned run average in 15 appearances so far this year. I know Brewers fans don't want to hear it, but could Hader be a possible trade candidate at the deadline if the Brewers overall aren't where they want to be?
I mean, things are just now starting to look up, Alana, and that's not the conversation that Brewers fans want to have. It's been a story, right? I mean, it's been a story. It feels like every offseason at the trade deadline, like who wouldn't want Josh Hader in their bullpen, right? I think everybody recognizes the value that he has, a 2-time reliever of the year, and he just continues to get better. And just recently, over the weekend in Miami, he became the fastest pitcher ever to reach 400 career strikeouts. I mean, even just saying that out loud is mind-boggling. It's just historic stuff that he continues to deliver. And look, I think this year he still has the elite fastball. He still has the put-away slider. And then this year he's adding a changeup, which he's now getting over for strikeouts as well. So if you're a hitter, I mean, good luck to you facing Josh Hader. And look, he just continues to perform. So whether the Brewers decide to move him or not, that's obviously not up to me. I think they recognize what an anchor he is in their bullpen, along with Devin Williams, reigning rookie of the year. I mean, that's as good of a 1-2 punch, I think, at the end of games that you could see across the league. I know the Brewers believe that and value that. That's a huge part of their pitching depth, is having Williams and Hader at the back end. So, I don't think that's a conversation that fans want to think about. I think you're just enjoying the ride and the performance that Josh Hader has given this club over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, so much can happen, too, between May 14th and the trade deadline. And talking about fans not wanting to even think about Josh Hader not in a Brewers uniform, you're going to see a lot more fans there at American Family Field pretty soon. You guys are going from 25% capacity up to 50% capacity, and it looks like by the end of June you'll be at 100%. What's the sentiment knowing that more fans will be in the stands?
Well, it's huge. I think if you've spent any time in Milwaukee, you know that this is a baseball town and how much fans love the Brewers. They're just among the most loyal fan bases I think you'll see in the game. And, fans have been so excited. I think first it was just getting into the stadium again. And then, of course, adding tailgating outside. We know how much fans love the tailgating outside of the stadium. So that was big news. And now, like you said, it'll be 50% over the weekend starting on Saturday. And the big announcement yesterday that it will be full capacity, 100%, starting June 25th. So they're starting to release more and more tickets. And I will say that the support has been incredible. When we shared the news with Brandon Woodruff the other day that the capacity was going up to 50% this weekend, his reaction was, "Oh, wow." And that's just a credit to the fans, he said, because they don't feel it, not just themselves on the field, but he said even opposing players on other teams have said, wow, when the roof is closed, right, when the panels are closed and you've got 10, 11,000 fans in there, it feels like more than that. It gets loud and these fans are into it, and they've really created great energy and a great environment for these players. We know how much they feed off of it. So I think everyone's excited. It feels good. It feels normal. And I think for Milwaukee fans, they're anxious to get in and see this team maybe for the first time.
Yeah, you'd be hard for us to find better fans than Wisconsin sports fans in general. Loved my 3 years in Madison. Sophia Minnaert, I love you. Good to see you on the show. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with us. We appreciate it. The Milwaukee Brewers starting a 3-game set with the Atlanta Braves.